No problem.
For those of you who are not familiar with SCORE, it is a national nonprofit with over 10,000 volunteers nationwide. Most members are retired professionals who have either owned a business or managed a business and want to give back to entrepreneurs like you. They have backgrounds in over 60 different areas, such as accounting, attorneys, marketing, manufacturing and operations, farming, banking, real estate, and the list goes on and on. Each member donates their time and knowledge to help existing and new entrepreneurs. We want to help you solve management roadblocks, financial challenges, plus many other areas for the new entrepreneur in developing business plans and financial documents. Kansas SCORE has locations in Topeka and Wichita, with branches in Hutchinson and Northwest Kansas. We mentor people at their business or with private sessions at no charge. Jessica Crawford is an attorney with a background in radio and the television industry. During her time working at multiple television stations, she has learned the importance of telling a good story. Jessica's passion is helping business owners share their stories with the world through the use of slogans, logos, business names, and more. Her goal is to help every entrepreneur own their story and protect their brand. She does that by strategizing with them so that they can obtain federally registered trademarks and copyrights. Jessica is a graduate of the University of Houston, where she studied communications and Spanish. She attended law school at South Texas College of Law, Houston, and was admitted to the State Bar of Texas in 2019. She assists trademark and copyright clients nationwide. Thank you, Jessica.
Well, thank you so much. And a big thank you to SCORE for having me. I'm so excited to be doing this presentation today. Trademarks are something near and dear to my heart. Of course, like she said, I have a passion for helping people tell their stories and to own their stories. And so trademarks are the way that you can do that legally. So here is the presentation for your brand. Do you really own it? So today's discussion is going to be about a 30-minute presentation with 10 minutes at the end for questions. So be writing down any questions that you have about the trademark process throughout this time. And once we get to the end, I'll be happy to answer them for you. We're going to talk about the difference between a trademark, a copyright, and an LLC. We're going to identify some of the famous, well-known trademarks that are out there. We're going to talk about why you need a trademark. And we're also going to talk about the trademark process. Next, we're going to take a survey so that you can get a feel for whether or not you have a true ownership of your brand. And last, we're going to talk about some things that you can do right now to protect your business and to take another step, a way that an attorney can help you protect your business. So a little bit earlier on, I heard from different people about some of the businesses that are running or that you were interested in running. I know that, so Jordan wants to start a barbecue business. I heard someone else has a job placement business, and we have a health coach on. Anyone else who wants to share what kind of business that they have or would like to open?
Yes, this is Chanel Willis. I'm from Shreveport, Louisiana, and I've already, I guess on paper, started my business. It's called Chesed Consulting, and pretty much I'm a certified life coach, and my goal is to pretty much empower women and young girls where they are to be a better version of themselves, with giving them the resources and tools, as well as doing seminars and hands-on work to kind of just help them as well as the community to, in a sense, level up.
Okay, I love that. Helping people level up, helping people glow up. That sounds like a great thing to do. And it also sounds like something that the community really needs. Thank you so much for sharing, Chanel. Would anyone else like to share about any business that they have or would like to have? Well, that's great. I know that there are a lot of different people represented here from not only like the people that I mentioned, but also I think I have some lawyers on the roster, as well as some real estate entrepreneurs. So I welcome all of you you so much for being here. So the good thing is that no matter what kind of business you have, every single business can utilize a trademark. And here's what a trademark is. A trademark is any word, any name, symbol, or device that, or a combination of any of those that identifies a business. And so that means that it can be the name of your business can be a trademark, the logo for your business can be a trademark, the slogan for your business can be a trademark. There are even certain colors that have been trademarked because people want, when someone sees that color, people want them to strictly think about that one type of business. So a trademark is something that identifies your business. And if you have a federally registered trademark, then you will have that R with the circle around it. You will be able to put that next to your business name or your logo or your slogan. A lot of people get trademarks and copyrights confused, so I just kind of wanted to explain the difference between those at the outset. So we talked about how a trademark protects something that identifies your business, not like the name, the logo, the slogan. A copyright is something that protects the work of your business. So if you're a researcher, it protects the words that are your research. If you're a novelist, it protects the words that are in your book. If you're a singer, your trademark may be the fact that your name is Lady Gaga, that's your trademark. But the actual music that is composed by you, that's something that would have a copyright to protect it. So the good news is that if you're here, if you already have a business that you started, you've named your business, and even if you don't have a logo, as long as you have named your business, then you already have a trademark. So you're already in the trademark game. And being in the trademark game, even without a federally registered trademark, you do have certain protections and certain rights. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about those protections and those rights. Now, a lot of the time when we have a business, sometimes our first step is to get our LLC. And when we get our LLC, we search online through whatever state that we're in, whether it's Kansas, whether it's Louisiana, whether it's California. And we're only able to submit names that are not being used by any other business in that state. So that means a lot of times your name is protected in your state, but it's not protected outside of your state. That database that creates your LLC doesn't have the national names of every single business that's out there. And so you could be open to risk outside of your state. You could also be open to risk within your own state if your name is confusingly similar to another business. And that's another thing that the state databases won't tell you when you're registering for your LLC. So I talked a little bit about common law trademarks. And so now I'm going to tell you about some of the rights that you have when you have a common law trademark. So when you just name your business, here are some of the rights that you have. Your trademark is protected in commerce in a particular geographic area. So let's say you started your LLC in Kansas. Generally, under this rule, then your name, your brand for your business is protected within the state of Kansas. This does limit your rights, though, as you can only enforce your trademark rights in the specific area where your trademark is used. And that's your specific geographical area.
Jessica, I don't mean to cut you off. I just want to clarify something. So you're saying that if I was to trademark the business, that it would only be good in my region, therefore like only good in my city, in my state. Is that correct? Is that what I'm hearing?
So thank you for asking that. That's a very good question. So what I'm actually trying to convey is that if you just name your business and you don't have a federally registered trademark, the second you name your business, even without a federally registered trademark, you have something called a common law trademark. And that common law trademark only protects you within your own state. And so if you have a federally registered trademark, that would protect you nationwide and also in the US territories like Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Does that help? Does that help clarify a little bit?
Yes. Now, I want to ask this too. So, like, let's say that you federally registered. Now, would that put you in a like a is
Like a database?
yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So there is a federal database that the USPTO does keep, and we talk about that a few slides from now. So that's also another good question. And it actually lists every single registered trademark that there is out there. And it puts people on notice. So if ever they go online and they are trying to find a name that would be safe for them to use, if they see it on that list, on that United States Patent and Trademark Office list of registered trademarks, then that puts them on notice that name is not safe to use because someone else owns it.
Okay. You said United States National what?
United States Patent and Trademark Office.
States Patent and Trademark Office. Okay.
Yes. Okay, and those were all great questions. Thank you so much for asking those, Jordan. So these days, so we were just talking about how if you do not have a federally registered trademark and you just started, like, let's say an LLC in your state, or you have a DBA in your state, then your business, your brand is really only protected within your state. But even those rights, even that little bit of protection that you have can be lessened by the fact that you own an online business. So these days, more and more people own online businesses. So that means every day there's a chance of someone starting a business with the same or similar name or logo to your business. That means there's also a chance that you started a business that has the same name or a similar name or logo to someone else's. So that's definitely something that
is we have to have a realtor involved. I've never heard that in my life.
You said what now? Come again?
How is that I have to have a realtor involved for somebody to owe me money?
I don't know if a part of that is true or not. Maybe it's their particular type of loan or loan origination, because we typically do the loans. He probably, like, I'm thinking.
Jessica?
Hello?
Yeah. Oh, my bad.
Hi. Are y'all able to hear me? I just heard something about loans and something
You're good,
else.
Jessica. You should be okay now.
Okay, got it. All right. Okay, sorry about that, you all. Sorry about that pause there. So what I wanted to say was that so many people own online businesses. And so if your common law trademark, if just having the name alone in a particular state gives you protection only within that geographical area, we have to think about what that means for owning an online business. When you own an online business, what geographical area are you in? You're everywhere. You're all across the nation and you're all across the world. And so that's another reason why it's been incredibly important lately for people to start filing trademarks and protecting their brands. So if you don't take measures to protect your brand, and if you don't take measures to take a look at the brand that you already have and see if maybe it's confusingly similar to someone else's, what you are at risk of is something called trademark infringement. So simply stated, yes, trademark infringement. So simply stated, what that is when you use a name or a logo that is confusingly similar to a business that had it before you and is currently using it. And trademark infringement can be intentional or unintentional. It can be something that you didn't even mean to do, but it can lead to lawsuits. People have the right to sue for trademark infringement. And also, if someone is infringing on your trademark, then you have the right to sue as well. Another harm of trademark infringement is that if you create a brand that's a little too similar to someone else's, you might have to rebrand. So that means you might have to start again from the ground up, rename your business, restart your social media accounts, get followers all over again, and explain to the people who currently follow your business that you've had to do things like change your name, change your website, change where they reach you on Facebook and Instagram. And that can be a very expensive process. It can be a difficult process. And it can also be a heart-wrenching one too, because as business owners, we really do get attached to the brands that we create. And so having to rebrand, especially when you didn't plan for it, can be something that's very difficult to do. So here are some of the benefits of having a federally registered trademark. Registering your trademark with the USPTO creates rights throughout the entire United States and its territories. And it puts your trademark in a federally recognized database that has every single registered trademark within it. So it puts people on notice that your trademark is in use, and that name or a name that's confusingly similar is not up for grabs. It also lets you use that nifty circle R symbol by all the brands that you see that are very official, that lets people know that it's registered. Another thing I would like you to know is that you may have seen the TM around, and TM.
What is that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So what a TM is it's something that you can put by your name or by your logo if you intend to register at some point, or to let people know that you are interested in enforcing your trademark if someone does try to infringe on it, but that you're not quite there yet, that you don't yet have a registered trademark. So that's what the TM means. If you see a TM, then generally the mark is not yet completely federally registered. It may be pending, the person may be thinking about it still, but it's not yet completely federally registered. And it also is something that probably a lot of you could start using right now, that TM mark. On more benefits of having a federal trademark is you have the right to bring a lawsuit concerning the trademark in federal court. Again, the trademark is listed in that United States Patent and Trademark Office database of registered and pending trademarks. And this provides the public with notice about the trademarks. Also, you can record your registration with the US Customs and Border Protection, and they can stop the importation of goods that would be infringing on your trademark. They can stop those goods from entering the country. And that's very valuable. Also, whenever you have a federally registered trademark, you get a really nice certificate from the government that has your name on it or has your logo, your business's name on it, and it states that you are the owner of that trademark. And so that definitely gives you a leg to stand on if you need to confront someone and let them know that their business name is a little too similar, or their business logo is a little bit too similar to yours. You have that leg to stand on, and you can show them, hey, look, I got my papers, and this is a federally registered trademark. So as you can see, trademarks help businesses protect themselves, but right now it's kind of just maybe an amorphous idea. So I'm going to just put these things into play so that you can kind of start to conceptualize what the idea of a trademark can mean for a business. So trademarks are the reason why we don't see arm and hatchet around, but why we see things like arm and hammer. So it's very likely that when the person created arm and hatchet, they were really trying to benefit off of all of the hard work that Arm & Hammer has done over the years. Arm & Hammer did work by having a good product that people like to use. Arm & Hammer did a lot of work to have commercials and advertisements. And it probably took Arm & Hammer a lot of time and money to develop the really great reputation that it has now. So when someone creates something like Arm & Hatchet, what they're trying to do is benefit off of the hard work that Arm & Hammer has already put in. Maybe they're thinking that someone will mistake Arm & Hatchet for Arm & Hammer, or maybe they're thinking that, well, Arm & Hatchet looks just like Arm & Hammer. It's probably just as good. And that is something that trademarks are trying to, that trademarks try to stop. They say, hey, Arm & Hatchet's way too similar for Arm & Hammer. It's a no-go. And that's why you don't see Arm & Hatchet in the stores.
That makes sense.
And thank you. And similarly, you don't see the Scurple marker. You really just see the Sharpie markers out there. A lot of people, we have confidence in Sharpie markers. A lot of times if we're handed, if we need a permanent marker, we don't even ask for a permanent marker. We say, hey, hand me a Sharpie. That's how much work that brand has done. The brand has done a lot of work to just get people to think, permanent marker is synonymous with Sharpie. And so they want to protect that. Lastly, the Poly Station. So that Poly Station was not creative at all. And it was definitely trying to benefit off of those parents who thought, is this that PlayStation thing that the kids were talking about? Or this thing is just as good as the PlayStation. Junior will never know. Poly Station was trying to benefit off of that. And that's why we don't see Poly Stations around. So now that we have seen some brands that really try to rip off of iconic brands, I'm going to put up some brands that don't even have the name with them. And I'm going to see if these brands are strong enough that you can still recognize them. And you can just shout it out. What brand is this?
I can't see.
All right, let me see if I can make it bigger for you.
Ferrari. Porsche.
Did you? Okay. So
Where
one
you
person
guys
said Ferrari.
I don't know what happened to mine, but I can't look at the slide.
Oh, is everybody else okay? Can y'all see it?
I can see it.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm sorry. What I
Gordon, you
can
might
do,
try leaving the webinar and coming back on to get your video.
Okay.
We'll see you in a few minutes. Okay, so one person said that it's, so yes, that's correct. It is the Ferrari symbol. Next, what's this one?
MasterCard.
MasterCard. We know it. We see it every day. We use it too much.
Chanel.
Yes, the Coco Chanel. You don't even have to see the name. You know those two interlocking C's. You know that that's Coco Chanel. And lastly,
Starbucks.
Starbucks. The thing every business owner loves, except for if they're a coffee shop owner, because we need lots of coffee and lots of energy to keep these businesses going. Okay, so definitely if a business has put in so much work that you can identify what they are, what the business is, and you have a whole concept in your head, and when you're thinking Starbucks, you're thinking, okay, coffee, long lines, lots of people there, pastries. And you think MasterCard, you think, okay, I'm going out and I'm spending some cash. When you think Coco Chanel, you think, oh, wow, that's a big splurge. And so, it's not only, we're not only thinking of the names, we're thinking of the whole brand concept, and businesses work really hard to do that. So if they're putting in all that work, and if you all as business owners are putting in all of this work to build so much consumer confidence in your brands, then of course businesses do fight for their brands. And here are some examples of that. So Adidas versus Payless. This was a 2001 court case. Everybody knows, and you can shout it out, how many stripes do Adidas shoes have?
3.
Yes, so Adidas has 3 stripes, and Payless, and we'll see a lot of different brands doing this, but Payless was accused of selling confusingly similar shoes to Adidas, because Payless had shoes that had 2 stripes or had shoes that had 4 stripes. And a lot of people probably wanted those shoes because they look so similar to the Adidas. Well, Adidas sued Payless, and it did take a while, but eventually Adidas was awarded from Payless $305 million in an infringement case. That's about $100 million for each stripe. So this not only shows you.
Is that why we don't see too many Paylesses here in Wichita anymore?
You know, I think that Payless pretty much had to like shut down just across the country. But you know what? This could be a reason, because I probably made a major dent in the pocketbook. But you know, a lot of brands that kind of make those like the knockoff of other brands, a lot of them are constantly faced with lawsuits like this one, and it really, really can cost you. And one thing that this kind of lawsuit shows you is just not only the danger that you could be in if you infringe on someone else's trademark, but just also the power that you have when you own your own trademark and your own brand. You can enforce it. So that's the story of Adidas versus Payless. So you might be wondering, okay, why should this matter to me? You show me things like Coco Chanel, you show me things like Ferrari and Adidas, and all these brands are really big. And while my brand might be growing or my brand might be small, you know, I don't know why this would matter to me. So let me explain to you why it does. But not going backwards, we're going forwards. Okay, so any brand, big or small, can infringe or be infringed upon. I'm going to tell you a story of one of my clients. My client, she makes press-on nails, very beautiful, very artfully done press-on nails. And she started making them during the pandemic. She got a lot of buzz. She's been on a big morning show. She has been in magazines, and she was just rocking and rolling. She did not realize that just a few months earlier, someone had started a brand with a name that she had. But the only thing that she did was look at what names were available in her own state. And so, yeah. And so she ended up getting a message, a cease and desist message on Instagram. It was very messy. It was like, hey, homegirl, we love an entrepreneurial queen, but you need to change your name because I already have this press-on nail business with the same name. And so over the past few months, we've been kind of in the process of, like I said earlier, helping her rebrand, helping her come up with something different. And the challenge here is that she's already gotten press and she's already gotten notoriety with the last name that she had. And so that can be really difficult. And her business, it's not too big, even though she was featured in those publications, it's not a really, really big business yet. So even a small business can infringe, even if you don't mean to, or it can be infringed upon. The other woman's business was small as well, and someone else had her same name.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So say that that was to happen. Now, do you have to change your practices in your business? Like let's say she does the press-on nails. Does she have to change her style of how she does things and how she carries out her service for her people? Does she have to change that with her brand too? Or is it just the name that she has to change that's trademark?
That's a really good question. So mostly what you would have to change in a rebrand is specifically pretty much the ways that you're marketing your business. So what we've done here is we've worked on changing the actual name of her business, and we've worked on, she's changed her logo. And so those are the things that she has focused on changing. She's going to have to purchase a new domain name. She's gonna have to buy a new domain name for her website. But as far as like what she actually does, she's not changing the nails or anything like that.
Right. Okay. I just wanted to know. I didn't I would just assume, but you know what happens when you assume, right?
You know what? Well, I'm so glad that you're asking, because yeah, we don't want to assume too much. So thank you.
Right.
So another benefit of trademarks, and another reason why trademarks matter for the business that you have, no matter what size of business that you have, is the fact that trademarks are laying the foundation for growth. So there was a USPTO study that recently came out, and it said that firms that file in their first year of existence tend to have a very different growth trajectory compared to the non-trademark filing firms. And that very different growth trajectory is that 5 years after filing for that trademark and getting that registered trademark, those firms had an increased revenue of approximately 3 times more than those companies that did not protect their trademark. Some other reasons why trademarks matter, no matter what size of business that you have. Of course, we know Facebook is huge. It's one of the biggest businesses in the world, but it decided to recently change its name. It decided to change its name to Meta. Meta is a word that we're all familiar with. It's existed forever. So of course, somebody got the trademark on Meta a long time ago. Maybe they invested about $1,500 buying a trademark. Well, at first, Facebook was trying to buy that trademark from that company that owned Meta for $20 million. Meta said, not our trademark. If you want to buy this trademark for us, you're going to have to pay us $60 million. So that company now, so that company now is about to get a $60 million payday, all because it invested a little money in making sure that it got its trademark registered. Also, some businesses right now require trademarks for you to sell on their platform. So Amazon Brand Registry, which is a platform on Amazon that's trying to build consumer confidence, because when you shop on places like Amazon, sometimes it's hard to know that you're truly getting the name brand item that you want. So Amazon has created a brand registry so that they can really make it clear to a consumer that something that they're purchasing is the brand, the exact brand that that the website says it is. And people have a higher confidence in Amazon brand registry items. If you want to participate in the Amazon brand registry, then you either have to have a pending trademark with the United States Patent and Trademark Office, or you have to have a registered trademark. And it would not be surprising if more businesses move that way as it becomes murkier and murkier to tell whether or not something is the actual brand that you want to purchase when you're shopping online.
If you sell on Amazon, is it better to be trademarked?
I would argue, so I'm a trademark attorney, so I am a little bit biased, but I would argue that it's better that if you sell on any platform that you have a trademark. But to be on Amazon's brand registry, which is something that a lot of businesses are going for right now, that really does, it gives the businesses extra benefits. And if anyone's interested in being on the brand registry, I'd be happy to talk to you about it. I'm going to put my contact information at the end. And but it does come with a lot of added benefits for the sellers. So now we're going to do a quick survey just to confirm, or to kind of get you thinking about whether or not you really own your brand, or whether there could be some conflicts there. So the first thing, we're going to do this kind of true or false style, and you can just think about it in your own head. But the first statement that I want you to think about is this true or false for you? Your website is a .net or a domain other than a .com because someone else already had the .com version of your website. So for me, and for my particular, I'm going to talk about the nail client again. For my client who did nails, or who does nails, she saw that there was somebody months and months ago who had her exact same name that she wanted as a .com. So she just started hers as the same name and then a .net. She was like, oh, it shouldn't be a problem. Well, that can be a problem. So have you done anything like that? Do you have a .net instead of a .com of the same name of someone else's website? Think about if that's true or false for you. The second statement to think about, you chose a unique spelling or altered form of the name that you originally wanted because someone else already had it. So let's say you wanted to open a business that houses multiple different suites for hair salon owners, and you wanted to call it Salons for You. And then you looked online and you saw somebody else already had something called Salons for You. So you decided to go with salons, the number 4, and then the letter U. Have you done something similar like that with your business? Think about if that's true or false for you. Another thing to think about is your business name, if your business name is or contains a common phrase or well-known saying. So is it true that your business name contains a common phrase or a well-known saying?
I think the saying that I'm gonna go with for the barbecue business is or the slogan, I guess, is come on down, I'll make you a plate. But I don't know if anybody's ever used that on their stuff. So.
Okay. So come on down, I'll make you a plate. You know what? That's interesting. Because I could see, because we know from the game shows, come on down.
Right.
But if that's not associated with barbecue, then maybe it could be a safe bet. So that's whenever we're talking about something like that, that's definitely something that you would want to have an expert to help you do a national search and to see whether or not something similar is being used and whether that would be a low risk, a medium risk, or a high risk thing to trademark. Here's the next statement. So is it true or false for you that you are waiting until you have a big brand to federally register your trademark? Is that true or false for you? You've been waiting until you have a big, what you think is a big popular brand to federally
Is that a
register.
good idea?
So this statement is that you are waiting until you have a big brand to federally register your trademark. You have to see if that's true or false for you. Are you waiting until you think your brand is big and popular to register your trademark?
No, I'm gonna need mine now.
All right, and statement 5, you have not hired an expert to run a nationwide search on your trademark to determine if it's low, moderate, or high risk. So is it true that you have not had an expert look into your business name, your business logo to tell you if it could be confusingly similar to someone else's? Is that true for you?
True.
Or is that for you?
True.
So if you answer true to any of those questions, then there could be a potential conflict with your brand. So here we're going to talk about the trademark process. So the trademark process, number 1, if you work with an attorney, this is how it's going to go. Number 1, they're going to perform a trademark search. They're going to run a search to see if your trademark is low, medium, or high risk for registration. So, and simply stated, it means that they're going to check nationwide and do as deep of a search as they can and as deep of a sweep as they can to see if there are other names, brands, logos that can be confusingly similar to the one that you want to choose for yourself. Also, we're going to identify the trademark class of your brand. So a class really is kind of what industry you're in. For example, if you have a pie shop that also doubles as a clothing store, you would be in the food sales industry. So you would be in the food sales class, as well as the apparel class. So to trademark your brand in connection with each one, it would be $250 to $350 to the United States Patent and Trademark Office for each class that your brand is in, for each industry that you cross into.
Oh,
Number
wow.
3, yes. And
Let me write
number,
write that down.
yeah, absolutely. It's a great thing to write down. And number 3, what an attorney is going to help you do is they're going to help you show and prove to the United States Patent and Trademark Office how you're using your mark. And so, and to do that, we collect proof that you're using your mark in commerce. So maybe that could just be a receipt. It could be a receipt that just shows that that you have sold something on your business. It could be proof from your social media that you're using your trademark. So that's kind of what that process is. Next, we file the trademark application. After that, the application is examined. So your application will be assigned to someone who's called an examining attorney with the USPTO. And at this point, that could take about 8 to 9 months for your application to get to that point in the process. That examining attorney reviews your application, and they check to make sure that it meets all of the requirements and is able to be registered with no conflicts. After that, very often that examining attorney probably will find some kind of conflict or something that they would like for you to change. That's called an office action. So if they issue an office action, they send us some information about the problem that they perceive with your trademark and the different ways that it can be solved. So an attorney would work on your behalf to solve those problems and get that information sent back to that examining attorney. And if it's approved, then your trademark goes up for publication. So that publication is a 30-day period in which people can oppose your trademark. So at the publication period, if someone thinks, hey, that trademark is too close to mine, they can oppose it. They only really have that 30-day window to do so. There are times, maybe a little bit later on, where they could oppose it, but it'll be a much more difficult process. After that, if your publication is not opposed, then you are moved over to the registration category. And then at that moment, congratulations, your trademark is federally registered. So in order to do this process, you have to go to uspto.gov. uspto.gov. That's the website that that trademark registration happens on. That's the website that hopefully, if you go with an attorney, that attorney will be using that website to register your trademark. And so I'm just going to show you here on the website. So this is uspto.gov. You go to the trademarks section and you just scroll down to where it says apply online. You see that little thing that says search trademarks? You can click there to see that trademark database that I was talking about earlier. To apply for a trademark, you go right to this area here and you click to log in. You click to set up a USPTO account. And it's likely that you have to create a new one. And so you just fill in the blanks right there with some information about you. And then after that, you will be able to start on filing your trademark. Now, filing your trademark, even though it is a web application, and so in that way, it's good that it does, lower the barrier to entry, that people can potentially file their own trademarks. However, the process can be very difficult. It can be difficult to kind of understand the language that the USPTO is using. It can be hard to understand what they want because whenever you have to submit that proof of how you're using your trademark, they want to make sure that that there are just kind of silly things put in place. Like if you're sending a screenshot of your website, they want to make sure that they can see the HTTPS there at the top, and they have very particular things that they're asking for. And so if you start on the journey by yourself, and without somebody kind of helping you, it can be really difficult to know exactly what to do to move your trademark along in that process. And so that is why the USPTO does discourage DIY filing. Even though you can do it, it's absolutely something you can do it. The USPTO does discourage it. In fact, they have on their website, hiring an attorney may save you money because an attorney will know how to best advise you on a trademark's registrability. So like how I said, that low, medium, high risk, like we can kind of help you see what that is. Because if you do make it through that process of like actually filing the application correctly, then you could still be at risk of having spent money on filing something that's probably not going to be a viable option, because it could be similar to another brand that's already registered that maybe you missed. We help prepare the application, and we respond to the USPTO on various issues that arise throughout the process. And very often there are issues that do arise throughout the process. Also, be aware of trademark filing mills. I right now know of a person who is dealing with some problems with their trademark because they hired, just an online website to file their trademark instead of working with someone who is an expert in that field. And so now their trademark is literally abandoned in the USPTO database, and potentially someone could soon register for that name that they wanted, and they really don't know how to lift it up out of that situation and how to change that situation for themselves. And the trademark mill really can't give legal advice on how to do so. So definitely be aware of these places. I just kind of want to start out your trademark situation and say, oh yeah, we filed it. Here's your paperwork that is filed, and really not wanting to carry you all the way through to the finish line of getting that beautiful certificate that says that, okay, you're federally registered. So here are some things that you can do to empower yourself right now when it comes to your brand and your trademark. So you can run a search on Google and on the USPTO website. You saw that little area with the little magnifying glass in there. You can click on that and you can run a search for the business name that you have currently. See if somebody else has that one, and run that search all kinds of different ways. Run the search with a Z instead of an S, run the search with a dash, run the search with a hyphen, because there might be somebody else that has a very similar name to yours. So that's one thing you can do right now, is go to the USPTO website, search for that magnifying glass, and run that search for yourself. An easier way to kind of get a grasp of what else is out there is run a search on Google of your current business name. See what other websites are out there. See what other social media is out there that has something similar. You can also take a picture of your logo, and you can put it, you can search pictures through Google and see what other pictures come up or what other logos come up that are similar to yours. And that'll at least give you an awareness, or start to give you an awareness of where you could be as far as the risk associated with the trademark that you have currently. Another thing that you can do after that is you can think of unique names and logos. This especially will help for people just starting out in their business. Think of unique names and logos that can set your brand apart. Some of the easiest names, some of the easiest business names to trademark are ones that are completely made up. Things like Google, things like Spotify, things like Shopify. Those are made up words. And a lot of times things that are completely made up are they're really hard to replicate. And so those are probably some of the things that will be, that will give you the best bet as far as being able to not have a risk of confusion with other brands. Lastly, you should create a plan of action of how you will get your business's name federally registered with the USPTO. So really, hopefully, after seeing this presentation, you're not thinking, well, I don't know if I'll register, but more of, I don't know when I will register. If you're not thinking about doing so immediately, because it is, as you can see, there are just so many reasons why it's important to go ahead and to get your business registered. Like I said, you can protect yourself from other infringers, and a lot of times people who are registered with the USPTO do a better job in business, make more money overall. So please contact me if you have any questions. I would love to hear from you. So you can contact me at 1-888-262-9272. And that's my firm's number. And my team does answer 24/7. And we would be happy to, when you call, they're going to ask you if you'd like to book a free 15-minute strategy session. And so they'll give you some dates and some times, and you just let them know when would be best for you. And I'd be happy to talk with you about your trademark situation and about your brand's situation. So again, that number right up there, 1-888-262-9272. And I just wanted to give a special gift to you all for just watching this presentation. And I wanted to mention, if you mention this class, you will get a $250 discount on our trademark package. And so I did want to let you know that. So make sure to mention that. So if we do move forward in the process, we can get you a discount, and we can get you moving forward in the right direction with your trademark. So if anyone has any questions for me that they've written down along the way, I'd be happy to answer them for you now.
So I'll be seeing you about the trademark thing, because I definitely feel like I would need somebody to talk me through the process. But do you also give out business advice, or could you refer about like maybe somebody in the food industry or somebody, because I go around and I ask a lot of questions and stuff like that, and I'm just looking for maybe just different strategies, or maybe just something. Maybe I could just pick their brain or something. I don't know.
Right. So that's a great question. And I think it absolutely is good to look for guidance. So I have a lot of professionals that I do refer people out to. And so that goes from people who have worked in the restaurant industry to people who have worked in just all kinds of industries, and people who are also really good at helping with business plans. So so I definitely be happy to share that information with you.
Hey, Jessica, this is Justin, and apologies for the greeting earlier. I was trying to pick up the kids, but Lenora did say hello. My question is, I think you might have went over this briefly there, but let's say you have a business that is numerical compared to actually being spelled out. When you do go ahead and file a trademark, will you have to go ahead and do a trademark on both versions of the business name?
Okay, so that's a really good question. So, and that's kind of covered under the idea of if things are confusingly similar. So we would be able to trademark your name either as the numbers, the actual the Roman numerals, or we can write it out, because somebody else still would not be able to, excuse me, I'm going to go back here. Someone else would still not be able to trademark that same name. Like the USPTO would flag that, and they'd be like, oh no, that's similar. There's a 42, in his, and he's a real estate agent. And so they look at those comparisons. And so somebody can't just make a small change like that and be like, oh yeah, I have the trademark now. So really, you're able to do it either way and kind of be protected.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, this is Chanel Willis. I do have a question. Say you start off and you trademark, business name. and just say down the line, maybe a month or whatever the time frame is, you kind of grow and things morph to something else, and you take on another branch of what you want your company to look like. Would you have to re-trademark that new branch? I mean, I guess the simplest way is like starting off as XYZ Consulting. So, well, I have a family member, we're going to go into business. Well, you know, I want to do glassware, and then another person wants to do just say skincare. So if we change it to consulting and just do XYZ industry, and then having the small umbrella under, like we'll have XYZ skincare, you know, multifaceted, using the name and possibly a DBA for those.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's something that we can absolutely add on later. So if you later on add another branch to your business, then we can certainly just do a new filing and submit something else that says, you know, with your business name associated with that other industry.
Okay, so I would have. Okay, so we could all be under the same trademark if we add something else to the branch.
So yeah, you could be trademarked like under the same name or the same logo, as long as there's not that confusion of risk, and as long as we determine that, okay, it's a moderate risk or it's a low risk. So there would have to be that search happening again.
Okay.
But yes, you can absolutely associate that trademark name with another branch of your business, so long as nobody else has already done so. So for example, like there's Dove chocolate and there's Dove soap, and it's okay because they're both do two different things. But if Dove chocolate decided it wanted to go into the soap industry, it would have a problem doing that trademark because there's already the Dove soap.
Gotcha. Okay, understand.
Okay, great.
Jessica, this is Ron. May I stop your screen sharing?
Yes, absolutely.
We had one question in the chat from Michael. He says, can someone indirectly gain common law trademark coverage or an even stronger protection if one pays to federally register a trademark successfully? They file an LLC in a state and file the authority to do business in other 49 states plus US territories. Is there a strategy that is far less costly than doing it? Can you do it state by state?
Okay. So whenever you have like a federally registered trademark, so you just register one time and it protects you in every single state. So you don't have to go state by state and federally register. So federally registered protects you all over every single state and all of the US territories as well. What doesn't protect you is only having your name or your LLC in one state and then not taking that step to federally protect yourself. Thank you so much for that. That was a great question.
He has a follow-up. I'm sorry.
Okay.
He says he needs to prevent to prevent an LLC being named in a state that mirrors your federally registered trademark.
Okay, to prevent an LLC being named in a state that mirrors your federally registered trademark. Okay.
Is he saying?
So I guess like really in that situation, that's more gonna come into where your trademark enforcement rights come in. That's kind of where the thing like the cease and desist letters and things like that come in, because something that is federally registered generally is not going to show up in that state register, and so pretty much that, and I have a hard understanding. Could you explain to me again what you were saying about gaming it, about that process?
Michael, do you want to unmute and ask? Oh. Meaning by filing the authority to do business, you're preventing a person in another state being able to even incorporate the same name or a similar business.
Okay, so okay, an authority to do business. Okay, so just because you have authority to do business doesn't mean that you're necessarily able to bar someone else from having a very similar name to yours.
Okay. He gave a follow-up, that way you don't have to sue them. Oh, he says he's got it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Michael, for your questions.
We've now gone a good hour. I want to thank everybody for being here. Jessica, if you want to stay and answer questions, we'll stay with you. But if people feel they need to get off for other reasons, thank you. Be safe out there.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thanks.